South Africa, as opposed to just trying to divert the conversation to trade conversations. However, other South Africans say that it's okay. South Africans did not and do not and shall forever not need to explain themselves. However, most of them are proud of the fact that their president was not bullied or Zelensky'd, as the quote that they use. But stories from outside of Uganda, but let's have a look at what Robert has been following on the local scene. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning to you. I think Trump has no more authority.
Right.
To speak about white genocide for a country like South Africa. Maybe if it was a case for Uganda.
Yes.
But some South Africans, the wounds of genocide have not yet healed even as we speak. And
apartheid is still affecting them, up to them.
Still there. We are talking about these people who are very, very mistreated by the white man in South Africa. Now, at levels of diplomacy, there are things you don't talk about. Because you're just going to bring judgment over your very people.
And please keep in mind that in this very month, 59 South Africans were granted refugee status by the Trump administration.
So I don't feel, I feel there are certain things that as a leader, you leave them. But for Donald Trump, a man, we know that Trump, that doesn't surprise me. His background in the showbiz, business, and there's always something he will do that will make you remember you met Donald Trump.
Right, so, that is very, very true indeed.
Julie, yesterday something very interesting happened.
Right.
At Wogembe Cathedral. A man climbed, churches usually have that top where they put the cross, like one we see in Namugongo at the Martyrs Shrines, I think it's a Catholic side. So a man comes and chooses to climb to the extreme top. And the police, crowds gather. And police did all they could to plead with him to come down. Now, the things I had never known that in my country, if someone is attempting to commit suicide, we also behave like the whites, please bring an expert to talk to him, get down. I saw what I usually see in the movie scenes. As someone threatens to take their life and the police is there. They even brought... It was very interesting.
Okay, I'm sorry for laughing. It's sad. It's sad, because, but you know that the Baganda
because usually
that
for us we are gonna why would you cause if you want to? But here I saw a good police, very trained. Please, your life, what? Then they brought a carrier to remove him. Someone was saying, but he's very far. You even need a plane or a helicopter to see how you can get him down. We had that value for life. I felt the swag in our country, that value for life present in Uganda.
In Turkey, really, there's a man who exhibited the same traits, climbed up to a top of a building and threatened to kill himself, and they gave him a Rolex. Actually, not a Rolex, really, but a shawarma. You know what a shawarma is, yes. It's what they gave him. It calmed him down, and he gave up on killing himself.
Now, what happened finally, after so many hours, the man decided to come down properly.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And when he got down, police wanted to arrest him, but the resident said, no, you're not taking him anywhere. But however, the church leader there advised police to take him for medical treatment because he believes he may it could be a result of
mental health. That's true.
Mental health.
That's
yes,
true.
Of course, not all people are mad to remove clothes, but they have that challenge. But also, for about a week, ASP Twine Charles had gone missing.
Right.
And police spokesperson Kituma had come up and said, we don't have any information where he is. We did not arrest him. But yesterday he was paraded before Uganda Road and charged on a number of offenses that include computer misuse, and along with that is Mitala Nuwa, where it is believed or alleged, because not yet convicted, and our laws are very clear, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty by a competent court, that he used technology and gadgets to send messages convincing someone to eliminate His Excellency and the first son. So we are still watching to see how this case is going to go. But at least now, his relatives, his friends know where he is and where he's being kept.
Right. Indeed, as events unravel, we shall also be following them and bringing them to you. But Robert, let's have a look at what is on the local scene.
Well, we begin with President Museveni in Nakasongola, where he held a public rally. Now, St. Mary's Primary School grounds in Wabinyonyi, Nakasongola hosted the Wealth Creation Public Rally for the Greater Luweero Zone. In addition to members of cabinet, the Choga Boat Owners and Fishmongers Association welcomed the president. The public rally marked the third and final day of President Museveni's visit to Greater Luweero. President Museveni was accompanied by, among others, Ministers Muruli Mukasa, Balambar Gahare, and regional members of parliament. Addressing the public gathering, Museveni reiterated that a peaceful country stems from a united nation. He emphasized that while infrastructure development is ongoing, it does not automatically translate to generated wealth. The head of state advised that if Uganda's vast and fertile land is properly utilized, unemployment will become a thing of the past. While Museveni believes agriculture is the way forward, he also acknowledged that industrialization will propel Uganda even further. The president's sixth clustered address also highlighted his government's efficiency in improving health and education services. He further committed, on behalf of government, to paying increased attention to uplifting Greater Luweero. To the fishmongers, Museveni reaffirmed that regulating the sector remains a valid and necessary exercise. The government of Uganda has committed 7 billion shillings to the National Council of Sports to support the development of women's football. This was revealed by the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, as she received the new FUFA Women's Super League trophy. Every decade, the Federation of Uganda Football Association, FUFA, unveils a new trophy for the Women's League. This year's edition was presented to the First Lady as part of a special tour by FUFA aimed at recognizing influential Ugandan women. During the presentation, the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, highlighted the significance additional 7 billion funding from the government dedicated specially to promote women in sports. The First Lady applauded the female athletes for excelling in football, a traditionally male-dominated sport. She reaffirmed the government's commitment to empowering the girl child across all sectors, particularly in nurturing their talent and skills. FUFA Women's Vice President, Honorable Nachiwala Kiyingi, also expressed her gratitude to the First Lady for her unwavering support towards the girl child and for championing the growth of sports in Uganda. This event marked the final stop of the FUFA Women League Trophy Tour, a symbol of the girl child's resiliency and raising prominence in competitive sports once dominated by men. The European Union ambassador, led by His Excellency Jan Sedek, head of the European Mission in Uganda, have voiced deep concern over the worsening human rights situation in the country, alongside what they described as verbal attacks allegedly made by the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. During a retreat in Gulu, northern Uganda, aimed at evaluating the community-level impact of EU-funded initiatives, the envoys also engaged in a high-level dialogue with General Caleb Akandanaho, the Chief Coordinator, Operation Wealth Creation, where a range of pressing national issues were discussed. Northern Uganda continues to stand as a major beneficiary of European Union funding, particularly aimed at improving livelihoods. The region, still healing from the scars of brutal two-decade conflict fueled by the Lord's Resistance Army, remains a priority for the European Union, which is steadfast in its commitment to uplifting communities from the shadows of war and despair. The European Union delegation's extensive tour and engagement with the community members, local leaders, and development partners are part of a broader effort to drive the renaissance, fostering reconstruction, rebirth, and sustainable development in northern Uganda. And finally, from the local scene, MTN Uganda, in partnership with the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, convened a high-level government roundtable at Sheraton Kampala Hotel. The roundtable aimed at reinforcing MTN's role as a strategic partner in Uganda's digital transformation journey. The one-day engagement brought together senior government officials, policymakers, ICT leaders, and the MTN Uganda executive team to explore practical strategies for elevating and implementation of the National Digital Transformation Roadmap 2023-2024 to 2027-2028. The session aimed to develop a joint work plan with government stakeholders, including minimum viable projects and actionable frameworks to advance digital service delivery across the country. MTN Uganda, which advises on public-private partnerships, presented its comprehensive portfolio of technology capabilities. These include cloud services, Internet of Things, managed networks, unified communications, and e-government solutions. The current National Development Plan focuses on increased investment in ICT to improve livelihoods, generate employment, and support the production of goods for export and import substitution. Uganda's ITC sector continues to show strong economic impact, recording an average growth rate of 14.8% and contributing 9% of the national GDP. Well, that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning.
Right, now let's have a look at what is on the foreign scene, and we're starting off from the USA. Many of us dream of attaining academic documents and achievements from Harvard University, but I'm not so sure how that stands because the Trump administration has moved to end Harvard's ability to enroll international students, escalating a standoff with America's oldest university. Now, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem wrote on X that the administration had revoked Harvard student and exchange visitor program certification as a result of their failure to adhere to the law. Let this serve as a warning to all universities and academic institutions across the country, she posted on Thursday. Harvard called the move unlawful in a statement. We are fully committed to maintaining Harvard's ability to host our international students and scholars who hail from more than 140 countries and enrich the university and this nation immeasurably. The university responded, "We are working quickly to provide guidance and support to members of our community. This retaliatory action threatens serious harm to the Harvard community and our country and undermines Harvard's academic and research mission." Now, the Trump administration's decision could affect thousands of international students who study at the university. Over 6,700 international students were enrolled at the institution last academic year. University data shows that, and making up 27% of its student body. Now, moving on to the Middle East, at least 29 children and elderly people have died from starvation-related deaths in the Gaza Strip in recent days. The Palestinian health minister said, warning that thousands more are at risk as limited aid begins trickling into the bombarded enclave. Mahed Abu Ramadan told reporters on Thursday that earlier comments by the United Nations aid chief to the BBC that 14,000 babies could die without desperately needed food aid were very realistic, but could be an underestimation. Israel has allowed limited deliveries of humanitarian assistance into Gaza amid a wave of international condemnation of its 11-week total blockade on the territory, which spurred warnings of mass famine. But UN officials have said the aid entering Gaza is nowhere near enough to meet the needs of the population in the war-torn enclave. About 90 truckloads of aid entered Gaza on Thursday, but Abu Ramadan said that most of what was allowed in was limited to flour for bakeries. The UN's World Food Programme said on Thursday afternoon that a handful of bakeries in Gaza are baking bread after receiving limited supplies overnight. Now, coming back to the continent, U.S. President Donald Trump ambushed South African President Cyril Ramaphosa during a meeting at the White House in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, when he claimed that a genocide against white Afrikaners is taking place in South Africa. This claim has been widely discredited. The South African leader appeared to have arrived at the Oval Office with hopes of mending a tricky relationship between the United States and South Africa. Trump started the meeting by referring to Ramaphosa as a man who is in some circles really respected, other circles a little bit less respected, like all of us in all fairness. During the meeting, Trump repeatedly claimed that genocide against white farmers is taking place in South Africa, an allegation denied by Ramaphosa. Earlier this month, 59 white refugees were flown from South Africa to the U.S. as part of a relocation plan for white South Africans devised by the Trump administration. Trump told Ramaphosa that these were white farmers fleeing violence directed at them in South Africa. We have many people that feel they are being persecuted, and they are coming to the United States, said Trump. People are fleeing South Africa for their own safety. Their land is being confiscated, and in many cases, they are being killed. But Ramaphosa denied allegations of a white genocide in South Africa, and he said if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, the South African president said, referring to Els, Guzen, and Rupert. Well, that's it from the foreign scene, but what do we have in the dailies, Robert?
The Vision brings you the big headline there: school proms, government bans cars and helicopters.
Interesting.
Says school events should not burden parents financially.
Makes sense.
But
at the end of the day, it's an experience in itself.
Senior police officer Agasire arrested over Kagezi murder. And 2026 polls, Jerusalem Saleh calls for political ceasefire. And Pastor Patiency pays tribute to T.L. Osborne Ministries. Then regarding matters, day preparations, 6 choirs reach finals. And former CID spokesperson charged and remanded. A New Vision brings more regarding Twine. Many have been asking, well, he was produced in court, charged and remanded. Now let's quickly go to the Daily Monitor this morning and see what is there in the Daily Monitor. Now, looking at the Monitor this morning, making of Bobby Besigye coalition. Then Twine's Day in the dock. And the Lizard has something to say regarding Twine. Did he support the army bill? Still, House Security arrested Police Chief Nixon Agasire. And very interesting one down here at the Daily Monitor, at the Scoop. And I know Judy here, they're asking who is who now. Fanero Ministries.
Yes.
We have Watoto.
Right.
Or Zoe. And there is a born again churches. They are wondering who is having more people, who is trending now.
Does it matter? Jesus is the one that should trend.
The Daily Monitor has given you. You have Apostle Grace.
Right.
You have Watoto.
Right.
Then you also have Prophet. Elvis Mbonye there. So there, who is who? And I think let me stop there. Let's go to Kenya and Tanzania.
Surely, indeed, if you ask me who is who, I will tell you Jesus Christ is the who and the what and the forever shall be. But moving on to the Daily Nation, Mr. Moneybags, that is in Kenya, and that is a headline that is on the Daily Nation. Loophole senators forced the government to abandon a bill to regulate harambes. In the Daily Nation as well, dilemma of students' university course revision. Also, win for UHC medics after MPs pledge 8.8 billion Uganda shillings. Meanwhile, Ruto, I turned to Raila after Kalonzo rejected my offer to join government. That is in the Daily Nation. Now, you can get yourself copies of all the dailies and get into the stories that are in there. But that's it from the dailies. And Good Morning Uganda should take a break with some music from Elijah Chitaka. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in
Good morning, Uganda. Today is the 23rd day of May 2025, a day that Diplock Segawa delivers a lifetime of melody at the National Theatre. 150,000 Uganda shillings ordinary ticket and 300,000 Uganda shillings for VIP tickets. So how about you end your weekend in style with very blessing entertainment and one that will bless your evening. But good morning once again. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyi Ntono. And a story that has so far stood out for me as the week is ending is one from South Africans. South Africans are praising their president, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, for not being Zelensky. And why they're doing that is because he was recently visiting the USA just to make sure that he mends ties, there are tensions between USA and South Africa. However, during their meeting, President Cyril Ramaphosa and the US President Donald Trump, Donald Trump tried to accuse South Africans for having and causing white genocide in South Africa. However, most South Africans had 2 cents to eat, one side being that President Cyril Ramaphosa should have asserted the fact that there is no white genocide in South Africa, as opposed to just trying to divert the conversation to trade conversations. However, other South Africans say that it's okay. South Africans did not and do not and shall forever not need to explain themselves. However, most of them are proud of the fact that their president was not bullied or Zelensky, as the quote that they use. But stories from outside of Uganda, but let's have a look at what Robert has been following on the local scene. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning to you. I think Trump has no more authority.
Right.
To speak about white genocide for a country like South Africa. Maybe if it was a case for Uganda.
Yes.
But some South Africans, the wounds of genocide have not yet healed even as we speak.
And apartheid is still affecting them, up to them.
Still there. We are talking about these people who are very, very mistreated by the white man in South Africa. Now, at levels of diplomacy, there are things you don't talk about. Because you're just going to bring judgment over your very people.
And please keep in mind that in this very month, 59 South Africans were granted refugee status by the Trump administration.
So I don't feel, I feel there are certain things that as a leader, you leave them. But for Donald Trump, a man, we know that Trump...
Information and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my server.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hustle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I would like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC, that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Commissioner. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for being on UBC TV, and it's time for The Real this Friday. And we've just read a headline in one of the dailies where the government, that is in the new vision, where school proms, the government bans cars and helicopters. And really, we are going to talk about proms and the whole entirety of that program. So be on the show 0709 602 592 and engage in on the conversation. My name is Julie Nantabamusisi, and I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyi Ntono. Now, different perspectives shared here, and given that Robert is a parent already, I'm definitely looking forward to his 2 cents. Given that I'm not yet a parent, but hoping to be, planning to be a parent, I also have my 2 cents, except from one who has experienced events as such. So with your experience as well, indeed, I encourage you to engage 0709 602 592. Now, over the years, I don't know if Uganda has experienced prom, the word prom, but at least we've experienced things like SOSH, most especially SOSH for single schools. And for mixed schools, it's been maybe something like Leavers Party. Yes, that's the word. Leavers Party. Prom came a little later, but if you think about it, same context, same idea, same clothing, different names. But let's have a look at the origin of prom. Prom began in the 1800s in the USA, and it was a formal ball or banquet where graduating students dressed up as a way to celebrate the end of the academic year. But along the years, it trickled down into high school cultures where they had simple tea parties but elegantly dressed in their best clothes. And it's still on in the USA, and somewhat it has found its way into Africa, but let's speak specifically for Uganda, where we experience life. And like I've given the background that over the years we've seen it as a SOSH, Leavers parties, different types of parties, and now it's called prom. And as we see it in the day-to-day age, it's beyond unimaginable. Indeed, helicopters are used, cars, different types of cars, expensive cars. It's more than a red carpet event. You could think you are walking into an Icon Awards event. It is just a prom event. So yeah, pardon me. Proms, should they really be encouraged in school? Let's engage in on that. Robert, I'll start with you as a parent. What do you think about prom?
Now, for today, I want to give both sides of the coin.
Right.
I'll start with the opposing government's intention. Julie and people watching us, we take our children to school to prepare them for the life that they are going to embrace. Preparing them for the life they are going to embrace. And you see, life does not treat all of us equally.
Right.
You must be prepared that there will be the extremely haves
And have
the
notes.
have, the heavy, and the not have. There will be the poor and extremely poor, and the poorest among the extremely poor. Now, we are trying to bring our education system to show that all of us are equal in terms of wealth, which is deceptive to our children. I was in a school, because you're talking of school, let me talk about my experience. I happen to have gone to a traditional school, and then also these modern schools that are not traditional. Now, in my traditional school, they made us, they did all it took to show us that we are all equal. For example, we had a uniform like any school, but even after classes, we had a uniform we could put on. Now, you're all equal. Dining, you're all equal. But life is not like that. That's why if a child grows up in this life of assuming that you're all equal, when they come to the real world and they discover, no, you must think hard, you must work hard, you must be very wise. That's where depression comes from. Because then most of our children are having more time in school than they have home.
Right.
So if this child grew up seeing prom, it is just about eating, there isn't so much that is there. Because I know some schools where they'll just tell them tomorrow is prom, and they'll put on the usual clothes they put on going for Sunday prayers. So when we want to make school different from the world out there, to a certain extent I stand against that. I want the child to know that there is a prom, and with the prom, much as you must read your books, you must think and think. Either it is doing some casual work during holidays to get money and be that superstar. Either it is knowing how you talk good or behave good to your rich uncle, your rich auntie, so that they can stand with you during prom, you know. Either you do some extra work at home, but prom happens and you're that star. Bad enough we lost that young man.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That's sad.
He died, and I think that was this year? Yeah,
Yes,
this year.
yes. Sometime
We lost
this
him,
year.
may his soul rest in peace. We stand with the family. Now, his common name was Mango. Now, one of the things is either to make these children think, how will I appear on prom?
So now let's flip the coin.
Now, going back to this side,
Right.
because my first point was, let's not make our children in school think that we are all equal, yet the world they are coming in. You're going to finish school and you spend 5 years without a job. There's one who is going to get a job while still in school. One is going to build a house 5 years after work, have a car. You're not, and you should know these are realities of life. Because even in prom, you had one who came in a chopper. You had one maybe who didn't afford this. But also we must note, even parents, there are schools you take your child to, and there is a life you expect in those schools. So even you are a parent, you must think properly. I'm taking my child to this school. Does my wallet enable me have my child in this school with all the luxurious things that come with? Don't take a school, your child at Elite, and then you're this parent, maybe who knows that you won't afford a chopper or you won't afford these good cars. Now, moving away from that side, let's go to the disadvantages of such things.
All right.
One, they disorganize performance of children.
How so?
Because this child has an exam. Remember, these are finalists.
Yes.
But you find that they spend so much thinking of what am I going to put on, thinking of how am I going to arrive at school. I remember our days, we didn't call them prom, they were leavers parties. But in my school, they did us injustice because ours would be in second term. So that third term, you concentrate on books. The other one is done already.
Yeah, but now you realize proms are actually now during first term holidays at that. So that's time for you to
For
be
us
away from books, time for you to relax away from books, which is
So
still...
where it is in third term, or where, because the child is, instead of concentrating, I want to assume, on their books.
I think they do concentrate.
No, still, you know, let me tell you, there's that psychological disturbance. You're speaking with someone, they're like, what, Robert, which, you know, our days, I think, was it called a tuxedo, that suit that
Tuxedo.
tuxedo that
Yes.
had. So we're in a group and we had agreed, all of us, that's what we put on.
But
Our clique,
I'd
we
like-
want to come in, and
I'd
I
like to
know
think
there are
of...
some who are comfortable.
Right.
We knew these were things we would afford. But we had colleagues whom we knew they would be struggling, but you'd see them wanting to fit in that class because it was a gang of 5, and
Right.
3 can't afford, 2 can't, reach a point even of saying, well, we've been together since senior 1. We are going to have, we want to come, the 5 stars, we want to come in this form. So you find a way of telling your father, telling your mother, let's get that extreme and help our brothers so that the 5 stars will appear. And we are
But
the
I'd
5.
like to think that the issue of concentration would come from an individual and the support system around them. And I'd give an example. If you are, most traditional schools are quite strict with academics. For an example of the school I attended, I was there 6 years, Muslim school, Gombe SS, and the tension there of academics, you always have to be on your tiptoes because at the end of the day, you're chopped, you're axed out of the school if you do not perform as per the standard. But we had social lives, right? So that means when you join the school, you know that rules of engagement, but it doesn't mean that you're taken away from your social life. And looking at the context of what prom is now, the timing, it is usually held during the first term holidays. So that means in the first term altogether, academics are not yet as heavy, but you're able to concentrate during the term, and then during the holidays, you're off of books for maybe the first 2 weeks. Concentrate on the prom, think about the makeup, the looks, all of it, engage your energy in there. And after the 2 weeks, go back, read for your maybe beginning of term if that still exists. So I think the timing allows you, if you as an individual and the support system from teachers and your parents can help you. I don't think it can deter you from books for you, something as big as prom.
I want to say the timing, yes. First term holiday, that is good timing.
Yes.
Some have end during second term holiday, or second term actually, not the holidays. And of course, many schools, even my school, had what we call the average Jambia. If you don't make the average, you're gone. But that would happen in third term. So first term wasn't so much of serious reading indeed. But remember, believe you me or not, even the aftermath of prom still moves in to the term. Yes, it was a holiday thing. Pictures are moving. Social media is there. It still moves. It has an effect that goes through because, you know, school, prom ends, but they'll still talk about prom. Who was the prom king, the prom queen, who dressed, how did you come?
Yes.
So, and even some will feel inferior We thought so and so was coming from up. But no, you couldn't even do this.
But
it has a psychological. Now, we also go to the parents themselves. Much as I said, it's very good for a parent to gauge yourself. We know all want the best for our children.
Right.
I want the best for my children. But also to gauge yourself, also do some research about some schools. I went to a traditional school that is Ndeje Senior Secondary School. I went to another school which is St. Mary's Chitende. But I want to tell you, these two had different lives. In Chitende, if you are a parent and you're having a child at St. Mary's Chitende, yes, academics was very serious, but there was a bit of showbiz. You had to be a parent who had money, I'm sorry to say. Because the life they are in and the children you're going to meet there, if Dr. Lawrence Mulindwa had allowed such, but was a bit of principledness, had allowed such, you would know we had the people, the Mugume Elvises, and some people, they would bring the choppers if they so wished. Because, so even you, a parent, know that what is the lifestyle of a child in this school? If I'm taking my child there, because children psychologically, small things that we think don't affect them, really do affect them.
And that's why I speak into the support system around them, because
so
as a parent...
if you're a parent, you're going to take your child to say, Allight, I think that is one of the schools, and that's the video we are having, that came out very properly. And you know that when it comes to a suit of 800, you can't afford that. You may not afford to hire, because these parents' children, I want the parents of these children rent these cars. And your son comes in a Ferrari, a Jaguar, Range Rover, those models. So if that is not what you can afford, then go to somewhere where you think you will afford. Parents, we should now stop at only looking at academics, good school. See also what the child is going to go through. The requirements, are you going to be able to fit in there?
Let's have a look at why. Because many times in our African nations, we adopt cultures just for the sake of adopting them because they look cool. We watch them in the movies and feel that we should adopt these things. But do you think it's necessary for us to adopt things like prom into our schools? Because we didn't originate prom. We didn't start with us. We copied it, brought it here. Although if you think about it, if you think about the reason for prom, it's important for people to celebrate that, the end of that stage of their lives as they are going on to the next stage. But do you think there maybe should be a way, a Ugandan way to do it, and not necessarily copy what we see in the movies from the Americans? One of the reasons why the Americans have it is for them it was a rite of passage. And if you think about it, the American culture, the Western world, the rite of passage from high school to college or university, that's when you're free to do whatever. Yet in the African context, you're protected, even as an adult, you're protected until you get married. It's when your parents will feel a little safe without having strings on you. So what do you think about the reasons why we adopt these things even when we don't understand them?
First, so much we have that we've adopted, even constitutions, we've so much adopted things from the Western world. And celebration has never been bad. That's why on Christmas, many people even forget the reason why they are celebrating. And they will eat and they plan just to celebrate, because we're celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, someone transiting from one academic cycle to another is worth celebrating.
That's true.
If a child is done with 7 years of primary, why not celebrate? 4 years of O-level, why not celebrate? 2 years of A-level, why not celebrate? So celebration is not a problem at all. The way we celebrate also is not a problem, in my opinion. I can choose to have my wedding and the cake comes from the sky. Can choose to have a reception of 100, whatever, so much. The question is, can you all afford and want this nature of celebration exclude others that would be part, or in one way or the other, take away the joy of others? I know children who, in some of the schools, who stay in the dormitories. You know, she doesn't, how is she going to come? You know, these are realities in school. And the poor girl says, you know, I know children who are talked about almost the entire term. She's been a good performer in class, but she's had the way of treating herself like a celeb, and now here it is, prom, mommy doesn't bring the dress, the shoes, and what.
And like you said, that these are the realities of life. I mean, I'm thinking about life of children from home. When there is a relationship with these children from their parents, whichever school you choose to take your child, and depending on what reasons you have to take your child to that school, your child knows the insides of the why. Your child knows your pockets. Your child understands, and you are at a level, at least I'm speaking from the way my mother raised us, we were always on a level of understanding that, okay, mommy won't be able to do this because she can't afford, right? But we were in a good school where I studied with many big people's children, even in primary, but never at all did I feel insecure about whatever was going on, because from home, it was just a level of we understood. But then a child being human, because at the end of the day, they won't entirely be exactly what you do. A child being human, they'll reach in school and be influenced by different people. Different things will happen. These children, I believe, still need to understand, again, by the support around them, that the adults, the parents, the teachers, that for whatever you do, there is a repercussion. When you go to school and you choose to be the wannabe, the show-off, the one who's always on the lights and forgetting the academics, there is a repercussion for that. And because I am your parent, within the limitations and gazettes I have as a parent, there will be a repercussion, right? So that means that even if you want to be in the lights of prom and whatever, and you feel that I can't afford it and then it will cause friction, I believe it comes from the background, from the foundation up to where these are the fruits. You see them by their fruits. You see everything by the fruits based on its foundations.
That said, has a level of maturity, and I want to thank your mother that she was able to instill that in you. But you see, there is what we call reality kicking in.
Right.
It's like you go to attend, sorry to use this example, of late, traditionally people would cry when they lose their loved ones. They would cry, do all those things.
Right.
Today, we don't do that. But are you aware that after the burial, these people who didn't cry hide themselves, lock themselves, and they seriously cry and shout it all out? Now, you tell a child that, but when look at what is happening there, when they don't fit, you know,
but
that
anyways,
still comes in. And actually, don't forget that there will still be time when there will be a talk after this entire prom thing. It doesn't happen that day and end.
That's true. That's true.
We have a prom that hit the nation and even went on national tabloids and papers. The allied thing.
Yeah.
It was a talk. How, when exams came back, want to see how the helicopter guy performed. Want to see how the guy... so it doesn't end that day. It has effects that continue.
And yet,
now, I also remember one time.
Yes.
I mentioned the school where I was, and of course there were so many. So one time my father told me, my son, because my friends who are the 5 stars, my friends were from posh families. So he tells me, my son, he used a Uganda word. Okutambula n'abalanga tekikufuula mulangira. Osula mu ggala kitekikufuula motoka. Manya kyoli. But of course, as a young man, yes, they would ring sense.
Right.
But once you would reach there, so I am 100% saying if we can standardize that this is what prom should be, and we implement that so that all schools or their minimums, but I'm also against training children in school that you're all equal. Yet the world they are coming in does not treat all of us equal. Either push yourself, work hard to get there.
Right.
But this assuming, was it the communism where things are, all people are taken as equal?
Right.
And no, we moved away from that. So
right.
If a school, the prom is there,
right.
How do these children think? How would you, the parent, prepare them that there is one who is going to come in a helicopter? My son, I won't even have a car for you, but that is life. That is what we can afford.
Right. Thank you very much, Robert. And for me, the conversation of prom and most of these things, I think for me, the foundation is the why. As a school, why are you doing prom? As a parent, why are you celebrating prom for your child, and why are you allowing your child to be involved? If you have clarity of the why with everything that you do, you will be comfortable as you move ahead in the journey of whatever you do. But that's it for the conversation on prom. Good morning, Uganda. The Friday edition does continue, and we still have a lot in store for you. Tourism conversations are also on today's edition, so stick around.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hustle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I would like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC, that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Commissioner.
We used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others.
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217*413#. Choose option 4. Or scan the event QR code or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
School proms, what a memory. I've been wondering how parents are keeping up with the pressure, and the students themselves, especially if you have a tough parent that is not going to fund the bills for you to show up in a Benz or even a Range Rover. Anyways, the government has even saved us. Good morning once again. Thank you for choosing UBC. My name is Zakia Lucky, and thank you. We are on Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express. So far so good. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is indeed serving the purpose, and to you that hasn't made it there, make sure you pass by because you are missing out so much. Nevertheless, it's not too late. We still have today and tomorrow, so make it a point to pass by and see what's happening. Even better, we have one of the exhibitors with us this morning who is going to be taking us through what's happening there, and we shall of course show you what you've been missing about. You're going to see all these pictures, and to the stakeholders that I have interacted with, the reviews really seem very positive. So make it a point to pass by. With me this morning is Mr. Emmanuel Mugisha, who is the manager, Dorothea's Windy Tourism Eco Resort. He's going to be telling us about what's happening at Powati, or even entice you to come through. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you, Lucky?
Good, thank you. We are happy to have you this morning with us.
It's a pleasure.
How are you finding Powati?
Powati is very interesting. It's a very great platform. I think the biggest for Uganda, East Africa, and the world. I think the whole world is in Munyonyo. And I think everybody that is in the tourism sector should actually be part of this. If they are not, they should plan probably for the last 2 days, come as a delegate, see what is there, and probably next year plan to be part of it, because it's an annual event that the ministry does organize for the tourism sector. So it's really, really a very great honor and pleasure that Dorothea is part of it, and it's amazing.
It's indeed very colorful. A lot of things are happening. Yesterday, I had a chance to dance Chichiga dance. I just immersed within different cultures. I got to see Northerners also do their dance. I saw Toro Kingdom exhibiting, Uganda. Actually, all the kingdoms are there. Busoga. It's just very beautiful, and the hotels. But let's start with Dorothea.
Yes.
How did Dorothea get to participate in the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo?
Maybe for the viewers out there that don't know what Dorothea is, a new lodge in Bwindi, Rushaga sector. It's a new player. We joined, we opened our doors in December last year. So being new, we really wanted to join something that would take us to places very fast. And Powati, being that attracts the who is who in the sector, we had, it was an easy choice, a decision. We had to actually go in, and that's how we made the decision to join Powati. So it was not a hard decision. If you are new and you wanted to be part of the tourism sector as accommodation, an accommodation facility. So we are. That's how easy it was for us. Yes.
And what is making Powati a valuable platform for ecotourism establishments? like the Lodge Dorothea's Windy?
The values are enormous. If you've been there, you would actually appreciate and see that for visibility, you would be easily visible because the players are there, and it has given us an opportunity to be visible as a new lodge. That has been very, very incredible. There is a lot of media, there are a lot of travelers, so you would spend less of your budget if you are actually there to assist, to get into people's minds. Then positioning the brand. Being new, we really needed to position Dorothea so that people would actually start knowing that we are in the sector and we are moving quite in the right direction. So networking opportunities, very, very, very critical for us that we had an opportunity to network with so many people. You'd realize that partners, buyers, the media, these are opportunities that came with Powati. This morning, I'm speaking to so many people, the millions of people listening to us, and this has been because we are in the exhibition. We want to grow our business since we are new. We really want to push the business hard, and hopefully we can give value to our clients in the very near future. Then also there's an opportunity of market research, knowing what your competition is doing, because it has attracted so many people in the accommodation sector. What practices do they have? What are they doing? So we get insights into the competition so that we can actually compete favorably. Then we also have customer feedback. Being new, we had an opportunity to host some of the buyers that came to Rushaga. So we've got very good feedback, and given the information that we keep sharing with people, they tell us the points that we need to improve, which has been very key for us. Then the digital media, the press coverage, the online presses. There are so many valuable lessons. Capacity building, there are so many, lucky that I can't mention all of them, but these are a few that we have benefited almost directly and immediately. Yes.
You did talk about feedback. It's like you're one of those that are smiling already, seeing that they've already visited you before coming in for the actual event, and now here you are in spaces with them. You have received the feedback already. And then how has it been helpful, especially to the community, if we go back to Rushaga or in Windy? Because we believe they're coming in to, participate in all of this, but at the end of the day, the community is benefiting.
Yes, being that today, this year's theme is tourism and sustainable transformation. Transformation and sustainability has to actually be within the local communities, because this is where our lodges are, and this is where actually conservation has to be done, and good sustainable behaviors within the lodges have to be done. So the community has benefited because of the presence of our lodges and our practices. First of all, that lodge took about 10 years to be constructed. All the labor was local based, materials were locally sourced until when we opened. So that means revenues in that time was going into their pockets. Secondly, now that we are open, we have employed some of the local members in the community. That means that they are earning revenue. We source from the local community for the food items that we prepare for the guests. We source them locally. Then for engagements, when clients come in, the few that we've had this time, we have community engagements. We do nature walks for them to know a bit of the agro-tourism, the culture, how they stay around us, and entertainment. They also do entertainment for the guests that come in, and these people keep buying their items that they're actually done. Then as a lodge, for the sustainability, we have conservation. We planted so many trees, then energy conservation, limit reusable towels and linen. We encourage our clients. We have lights that are sensible to motion. So we actually making sure that the community is best. When the buyers slept with us, they left so much for the community in terms of clothes, in terms of money. So we share some of these charges, like the charge we charge for the nature walks. 30–40% goes back to the community. So we are making sure that our presence in the community is benefiting actually the community.
Mm.
Yes.
What could be some of the interests that you could have received from hosting these tourism stakeholders, the buyers, partners, travel companies from the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo?
We've got actually I have realized that some of the sector that we actually in Rushaga, capacity is still low. The demand is quite high. What I would think that what we call traditional seasons, actually, like in North America, I got to find out that they travel in the low seasons. I think now we need to position ourselves where we think it is low season in Europe. North America could actually be high season. These are things that have interested me, and I found out that actually if we market more of ourselves and go to the source, we would actually find that we are all around full with clients. But so many things have come through. Mm-hmm. You'd find that people have interested us in putting up more facilities. For example, creating more packages for the visitors. You'd find that we sell more in our sector, the mountain gorillas, but there's much more that we can develop. Mm. Actually, where you find that safari has been big in Kenya and Tanzania, we could integrate safari and the mountain gorillas and start eating into the market that Kenya and Tanzania has. Then the other issue is that you'd find also, when you interact with these people, you find that when they travel to Rwanda, Kenya, and Tanzania, they actually spend more money than they actually spend in Uganda. Mm. This got me surprised. We might have more, but earning less. I think it's because how we package our products and how timid we are actually to charge these people. And I've also been in the communities. I've realized that communities tend to look at tourism as the only way to earn money off actually handouts. But if we developed products within the communities that would demand people to spend on, would actually be getting more money than actually just being sympathized with. So I think that is the area that I've seen we need to develop partners and the government to develop more of our sites and actually make them more demandable for tourists to pay for. Mm. Yes, please.
Talking about that, it gets me back to what one of the speakers did talk about yesterday in the conferences. And he said there's no better time to market Uganda than now, or even tourism. Yes. And he mentioned that you will never go to any other country where you'll find more than 25 dishes aligned. It's very impossible, including the sweetest pineapples in the whole world.
True.
And to that, I can actually testify, because I remember when I visited India and tried out their pineapples, those people thought they are the best pineapples. And I asked them, have you tried pineapples in Uganda? No clue. But they thought they had the sweetest. Sweetest didn't have any taste. But you can imagine what we have here. And
amazing.
Yeah, that takes us back to the expo that has to put out all the beauty that we have in Uganda. How do you think an expo like this packages all that we have in the country? You've talked about the wildlife, We've seen the hospitality side of it. How about the cultures? How about the foods and the people themselves?
I think I would first give it up to the tourism, Ministry of Tourism. They have outdone themselves, but I think, like you said, there's still more to offer. In those sections where we've concentrated more on the accommodation, on the tour packages, wildlife, but there's more that I think we can actually put out there. Culinary, culture. I don't know if that segment, people still have to pay to acquire a booth and do that, or the industry, the ministry should pick it up and actually own it and go to the local communities, invite Nalongo to come and do Luombo, Malewa, and you know, I don't know, in safe spaces where people can actually do the culinary. It is a huge opportunity. I don't know if there's a food expo, but we can, I think, integrate that and make sure that the buyers, the international, even the locals, I am sure that, like you said, some people are based in Mbale, they don't know what is in Kabale. They don't know what the West Nile does. So people are actually in the art for whatever, but all they are pushing is tourism in the wildlife and in accommodation. But that is a very unique selling point that we can pick up and drive. Yes.
And you know, there's no one that can actually market tourism in Uganda better than a Ugandan.
Yes.
We have come from the roots, we know exactly what is there. The other day I was sharing this unique activity that I grew up seeing in Kabale. It was a cycling activity.
Yes.
So they would sponsor all these people that ride cycles and get into a competition, and would all get excited about it, more like an Olympic game. But today we have lost it, but imagine telling that story of what used to happen. When you get to the southwest and they will tell you it's so hilly, how were these people able to ride on? That will be a story for another day. But we still have a lot to really discuss. Now, when we come back to the expo itself, how is it also packaged? Now, to people like you that are into the hospitality business, how are you benefiting?
So far, for the 2 days, I was looking at, with my team, we've talked to about 168 clients directly. These are buyers with direct contacts, and that's a huge market for what you bargained for so far. And believe me, they are promising. It's how we take it from here that matters, but the platform has been very, very beneficial in that area. Secondly, we've managed to speak to partners, tour companies that didn't know about us, not because we're not doing so much, because we are new. These people have shown a lot of interest, and hopefully we can benefit from such partnerships. There is time after tomorrow to start building on these partnerships. Start the conversations, write emails, give them more details. Now you have specific targeted farm trips of particular people that you at least know they are interested in what you want to do. Then we have met important people that work with government that have passed our stalls that we have gone to. Then the workshops that have given us vital information that we really needed, that would take time to get such information from the stakeholders. So it has really been a very beneficial experience for us. Like I said, we've learned so much in the conservation part. I think we are going to make a few changes at the lodge because we've got exposure now what other people are doing. And I also want to thank Speak Resort Munyonyo as a facility. I think so many good energy conservation practices you would realize that they are having. And they've been a good host so far. We thank them and the ministry. I saw value for money. Honestly, it has been value for money. The media itself, we've managed to break barriers that would take so much time and ages to get to you people. We now know who to talk to if we want certain things, and we've learned so much to better, yet we're just beginning. So it's been a wonderful experience.
I was indeed right to say you're one of the happy people, because those are such huge numbers.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so getting back to also how this expo is helping to bridge the gap between urban-based travelers and then the local or the local ecotourism, destinations like Bwindi. How is it helping to bridge the two?
I think it has brought Bwindi to the urban, because it would never, the urban would maybe never have gone to them, but now the expo brings the interest from Bwindi to, and you'd find that there's a lot of promotion that is out there. People are asking, where is this? It is in Bwindi. What do you do? We sell this and this and this. And they say, oh. So you'd find that this is what Powate has done. It has brought Bwindi to the urban communities. Then education. It has given us so much information that we can apply to actually either educate people in Bwindi to expect what to expect and what to do when we receive, and how to attract people to come to our. We cannot be there waiting for, I think it's no longer Karamoja to develop. Karamoja has also developed, but I think the information is quite available, that we are lucky that we've been in Powate. Then practicing good environmental conservation practices. Powate has helped us also understand this, that if you do this, you preserve, conserve your environment longer. And these are things we are going to take back to the community in Bwindi and tell them, you know what, these are what we are supposed to do to benefit from and sustain our environment and our heritage longer, for us to benefit and our children to benefit. So it's been a very huge platform for marketing, awareness for the communities in Bwindi to be known. The Batwa experience, I've seen people talk about it, the culture, I've seen people dancing, I've seen remote dancers. Actually, you're dancing, you told me you're dancing. And for somebody who's not seen this, wants to know where's the origin, you're triggering something into somebody. And this platform, it will never have happened unless Powate does it. And it will have a trigger-off effect, and people will start benefiting in the long run. Yes.
Wow, indeed beautiful. So how are you ensuring that tourism is benefiting from your resort reach, especially in these communities? For example, Bwindi.
Yeah, just one, how am I?
How are you ensuring that tourism is benefiting from your resort reach to these communities?
Now, we have, like earlier I'd said, we have specific programs that we have promoted in our lodge. First of all, we have, like I said, we are sourcing, we are buying, we are from the local community. Secondly, we have engagements with tourists that come in to actually toward the community that we live around us. Thirdly, we have entertainment projects that we engage with the local community. We have employed local staff in our workforce, which has helped us also make sure that the community is beneficial. Secondly, we've also, being that we are a lodge in the community, we have been talking to stakeholders, how to improve infrastructure. There's so many things that we've done in that community because our initiative to get power down there, it was our initiative, how roads can better clear the roads for the facilities in there has also improved on the community. So we are a community-based resort. So for any penny that comes in there, there is a penny that stays in the community. Yes.
Interesting. And what do you think can be improved in the future expos to better support of ecotourism ventures?
Like you said, more involvement in our culture, culinary, and we have so much that is not in there. Is it because it is a fee to be in there? So I think the ministry can look at themes per day that would actually target specific regions. I would think maybe like the first day exhibition, the theme could be maybe culture from the Western, you know, and we push it particularly for all the exhibitors to have something thematic that would, if it is to promote the West, we do that. The second day we do the North, and we even ask the hosts to, in culinary, to have the menu that people sample that and the products that come there. Get a few exhibitors that probably are not paying, but they are exhibiting just for that specific. Then finally, maybe for the organization, maybe to be ready a little bit earlier, we could have a day that we are ready before the buyers and the exhibitors are in. I think that's the only downside thing that I realized, that we were not ready when people were actually walking in for the exhibition. But apart from that, everything was perfect and awesome.
Okay, let's have your closing remarks as you also entice those that have not had a chance to get to Powate.
First, thank you, UBC and Lucky, for this opportunity. It's been a great opportunity. Powate, thank you. And those who have not been there, please come and rediscover, realize what Uganda has, and interact with the international markets. There are so many people that are down there who want to know, and even personal opportunities. People in printing, in any other sectors of the business, there's a lot that is. Then it would be so unfair if I don't talk about Dorothea's. It is a wonderful lodge. It is based in the Rushaga sector. We have 12 rooms, beautiful cottages. Lucky has been there. I think she can attest to that. And I would request that all those that are affiliated to the mountain gorillas and those who want to do personal travels and the honeymoons to come and try us out. Visit our stall. It is P07, the pool pavilion. We have a great team ready to welcome you. And Uganda is the destination. We really thank God for Uganda, and hopefully that tourism will thrive as it is. Thank you very much.
Yes, Uganda is the destination. Someone did say that Uganda is like a beautiful woman who is just, you know, there to look good and offer even so much more of its beauty. Make it a point to pass by Powate at Peak Resort. It's still on today and tomorrow. And thank you, Emma, for the discussion. Yes, we are still on Good Morning Uganda. Coming in is Julie Musisi Nantaba.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
Just a corporate loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hustle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I'd like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC, that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Commissioner.
We used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others.
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217*413#.
Choose option 4.
Or scan the event QR code or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for being on the show. This Friday edition, we call it JMU Friday edition. My name is Julie Nantala Mosisi, and as always, excited to be here with you, start the morning with you, and make sure that you kickstart it in an inspired way. Now, earlier on, we did talk about prom, and allow me to read a couple of your comments that we hadn't read in there, and I'll start with good morning, Julie and Robert. Prom could be good if the idea was about entertainment. I mean, give the students some special moments to party and have some fun. After all, it comes once in a lifetime. And the other that came through was, tell me, does America also celebrate the same way that we celebrate? Why would someone waste scarce resources because of school prom? Why not use it to build capital for the child to start with after school? I think someone would think of, sometimes we need to breathe. But anyways, thank you so much for being on the show always. And somebody did come through and said, good morning, Uganda. From prom activities are not bad. It only requires regulatory action. And you say the Ministry of Education should be in on this. And one last one, good morning, Uganda. This is Mr. Senyonga Simon Peter. I'd like to say that thank you to Mr. Mugisha for the job well done. All right, Mr. Mugisha has received his flowers. Thank you so much, Mr. Senyonga Simon Peter. Now, coming back to what we are looking at right now, health and sanitation are not just foundational basics, but they are rather the dignity of every human being and the development that is attached to every human being. And the Health and Sanitation Expo is one impactful platform that shines a light on that. Now, this morning on Good Morning Uganda, we have the visionary behind the Health and Sanitation Expo to tell us more about what it is and how best it's impacting health in Uganda, as well as dignifying every human being unto their development. So be on the show, 0709 602 592. That is a WhatsApp number to which you can engage and ask whatever question, contribute to the topic, as well as be a part of everything that we are talking about. Once again, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Walter Magezi.
Thank you. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, you're welcome.
Mr. Walter Magezi is the chief organizer of the Health and Sanitation Expo, and he's here to speak into this matter. First, tell us what about the Health and Sanitation Expo. What is it about?
Basically, the Health and Sanitation Expo, this is an event that tries to bridge the gap where that the society have failed to get time to understand that these are the things that we should be doing in our daily lives, things that matter to us. That is in terms of health and sanitation. These are two big sectors. It is not that they are very small, but they are two big sectors that I have tried to take time and research about. Me as Walter, I'm not a doctor, but I have teams of people that will work with me, teams of partners that are experienced to show us exactly what this means. So through the Health and Sanitation Expo, we are looking about doing exhibitions. People get to know that this is an exhibition whereby we have innovations to be showcased in the health section. We have to know about the nutritional bit of it. We have nutritionists that are working with us closely, and we call upon more people who are willing to be part of that kind of, in a nutrition section, traditional medicine. So with health as the sector itself is very big and large, and when you also talk about sanitation itself, people don't know that we have proper waste management ways that we can do it. And there are some experts that we have here on board. And among our experts that we have, apparently my people are there, they're working. That is Scoop Pit Sanitation Services in Mbarara and Kampala here.
Right.
In any case, people don't know that we know how to handle the sanitation bit of it. They don't know that it is easier in order to prevent than to cure. If you get back and relate like how we used to be during the COVID period, everybody was fighting and saying that it's a challenge, it's a challenge. But right now we are looking about many things. Public health sector, we shall have water, sanitation and hygiene. Maternal and child health, talk about the pharmaceutical and supply chain sector, talk about mental health services.
Right.
And I understand, you know, Julie, in Timukampala, all of us, we kind of somehow mad. People don't do that easily, but we have that kind of challenge. The mental health level of craziness here in Kampala is too much. And get to know much of the insurance and the financing systems of the health. Everything that we are tackling here is big independently on its own.
Right. Thank you so much for that brief background. But tell us what inspired you to start to think of creating such an expo.
What inspired me is the challenges that we have seen within our society.
Right.
When you take a very good movement within here, Kampala, you yourself, you can easily understand that we are having some issues in regards to sanitation basically there. And we cannot blame anyone to this. We cannot blame anyone to this. We have to accept that
it started with us.
This has to start with us.
Right.
Because you, the person who is at home, you cannot get your garbage and display it somewhere or just dispose it off anywhere, anyhowly, and then you expect another person to take responsibility of it.
Mm.
And this time around, I'm calling upon all Ugandans to know that it is not only that, okay, let's understand here in Kampala, people are all pinning, most of them that I engage with, they are telling me, KCC has failed, KCC. I'm telling them it's not only KCC to blame. It starts with us, we as the people, the common people on the ground. What can we help out in the society?
Mm.
What can we do to do the best of our lives?
Mm.
So a lot has been has been figured out with my team. I have a lot of team members and partners. That's why we have decided to let the whole country right now get to understand that we are getting ready to organize this. And we are calling you to be part of the drive. It's not that we already have all the partners on board at once. No, we have decided to engage and call some that are willing to be part of this, because I've always had people complain to me that when you're doing events, you just get a few selected ones and they are the ones that you work with.
Mm.
Now this is a call to the entire nation.
Actually, you talked about something, how people always blame KCC or always blame the government or always blame those who are the stakeholders.
The ones in power.
The ones in power, thank you, forgetting that even we ourselves as individuals have the tools of power. And you talked about just as something as simple as garbage management. And when you say that, I see that at the expo, things like being taught how to separate our garbage alone is something that is pertinent and should be taught, that plastics alone, you know, foods, things that rot should be put alone, things like that. That is very pertinent. 0709 602 592. It's our WhatsApp number to which you can engage and be a part of this conversation. We are talking about the Health and Sanitation Expo, and we are with the chief organizer, the visionary behind this expo, Mr. Walter Magezi, who has directly and profoundly stated what inspired him to start it, but also what exactly it is, and it encompasses a wide range of expert players that are needed to be in on this. Share some of the goals and objectives for this expo.
The goals and objectives, basically, amongst all that we need is to create awareness, let these people understand that these things are there and they need to be known for the society. Another thing, we need to promote innovations in healthcare, hygiene and sanitation services, because people don't know that we have innovations. I have a lot of friends and colleagues who have tried to do innovations in health section. A colleague of mine has created a machine that measures the amount of blood lost during pregnancy.
Wow.
And they refund and they refill that blood in the human body. So it's a lot of things. We are seeing the latest medical technologies and public health solutions. And also to provide health screenings and medical consultations for those that will be available on ground. They can reach to us because we shall have free eye care tests, we shall have dental checkups, we shall have all other these simple diseases that they can screen. Me, I'm not a health expert. Just I'm a person who is like, should I call it a concerned citizen that has seen about that the health sector is lacking.
And you're providing a solution.
We are providing a solution.
Right.
I'm not doing this alone. I have you, the entire audience, and whoever is willing, you can partner up with us. Yes.
Right. Now, in case you're just joining in, you're not yet too late. We are talking about the Health and Sanitation Expo. And Mr. Walter Magezi painted a picture of how broad it is. It's not just about health of you receiving an injection and sanitation of you cleaning your home, but it's about a whole lot of sector players, from public health sector, curative and clinical services, water, sanitation and hygiene, maternal and child health care, health research and innovation, pharmaceutical and supply chain sector, mental health services, traditional and complementary medicine, health insurance and financing. So you see, it's broad. It's a 360 degree of handling health and sanitation. Walter, you did talk about innovation. What is the role of technology in this, in putting up this expo?
As we all know that the world is changing and things are moving at a fast-paced speed.
That's true.
When we get to understand that in first world countries, they have adopted too much usage of artificial intelligence. But yes, we are a third world country. We have to accept that. We still have a challenge of making people understand that technology is something that we need to consider in everything.
Right.
We ourselves here, we are trying to create an AI app doctor that will come soon. We shall unveil that when it comes to the time. With technology, it makes things easy. It makes things easy. It makes works go so quickly.
Right.
So we should wish to, like the society, to learn much and embrace technology. Let them get to know how best can we engage this. Let's not only focus on blame situation, but find solutions for the little problems we have in the society. Yes.
What role do you think governments, NGOs, private sector players, what role do you think they have in making this expo happen?
They have a very big role, and we call upon all those key stakeholders to be part of us. It's not that we are trying to take over this baggage at once to ourselves, but this is something that we can work on as a team. Once we synergize the energy, it makes the work easy. We haven't approached to most of you, but we have approached to some.
Right.
And we are willing, asking that maybe there is someone there who can be in all the angle related of sanitation or health and has seen this and be like, I want to be part of this. You are also welcome. Mind you, this is a free entry event. We are not charging anything. That's how we are trying to make things easy for the society. And if you understand well, we are starting with Kampala edition. This Kampala edition shall be in July 2025. We don't need to put much emphasis on the dates and the venue and all that. We need to first organize ourselves deep in. This is a courtesy call for sponsors and partners. Let them get on board. We sit. If you need me, Walter, I'm available at any time. Available to your disposal as long as we're discussing about health and sanitation. This is something we can start within here in Kampala. Then we also go into the major cities of Uganda. From here in July, we also plan to move to Mbarara, from Mbarara to Fort Potro, from Fort Potro to Alua, Jinja, Gulu. At least we make an all-round engagement in the whole society.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Walter, for that. Now, the theme this year is Better Lives for Sustainable Communities.
Yes.
What inspired this theme?
When you look about it, Better Lives for Sustainable Communities.
Right.
Since we are looking at health and sanitation, we expect that our outcome should be having a better life. When someone is taught how to do personal hygiene, when someone knows how to live well in the community, when someone understands how he has to understand how to use proper waste management disposal methods, I come to a conclusion of having better lives. When we have better lives, we have sustainable communities. This gives us to know that our youth, our next generation, can depend on all those mechanisms we have put in place to make sure that their lives get better, to sustain the communities.
And that's their development.
Yes.
Indeed, the Health and Sanitation Expo is something that is pertinent because, I mean, health and sanitation are not just basic needs. They are very fundamental and foundational to human dignity and development. That is why Walter has decided to champion, with the rest of his team, be the champion, to be a solution in his society, in his community, and do something until the rest of whoever, every stakeholder, joins him to change Uganda for the better. Now, 0709-602-592, that is a WhatsApp number you can engage in and share what you have in mind in regards to this conversation. Mama Zabu, you say hello. Thank you very much for saying hello. What is your question? What do you think about these pertinent conversations that we do have, especially one that is in studio right now, that is the Health and Sanitation Expo that is to take place in July 2025 here in Kampala. And stakeholders, different players are called upon to be a part of this big impactful event that is not just for individuals but is for the nation of Uganda. Walter, what challenges have you faced so far in putting this event up?
Apparently, the best challenges are, I should say, the financial bit. Since this is a free entry event,
right?
We don't expect to make profits, but we want to make it unique and smart. So this means we have to find sources of income to invest in the event. I don't call this as an investment, but to use, to make it like look so very much far better than what someone should expect. And another challenge is when you're organizing such events and you don't have the Gambano, it's not an easy one. But we prevail, we believe. Since we are believers, we know that the God who brought the idea into place will help us reach into the area. So any Gambano that is out there that would wish to focus on this entirely, you're highly welcome. We need to engage with the ministries that look at sanitation and health, the ministries and NGOs, whoever knows that they can give a hand in this, we highly call you upon. Right. And once we come knocking at your doors, we are not big. We are just the few individuals trying to navigate through how best we can support our country. As you know that you said dropped out into the system of funding. So how best can we navigate through these conversations and see what next? Shall we wait and die in our own country?
Right.
We are here. We've been here. And special thanks to our president, the way he always teaches us that we believe this is our own home. Nobody should come from outside to educate you from your home. No, when you're the head of the family, you're not told exactly what to do in your house.
That's true.
Let's stand up as Ugandans and see how best we can do this.
Right. Allow me also ask, how are you ensuring that every stakeholder is involved on this? How do you ensure inclusivity for everyone, local communities? How do you ensure inclusivity?
We are doing this first and foremost by scripting off the entrance fee.
Yes.
It is a free entry event. So by the time it's a free entry event, that means you're welcome to be part of us. And you can easily enter. The ones that will be participating, trying to showcase whatever they are showcasing or teaching and training, those ones will talk with us. I have the coordinators' numbers. And then also you can talk to me, the chief organizer. Once I'm up and down, maybe you can negotiate and work out with the coordinators. Another thing is we are making this courtesy call. We haven't come out to say that this is it, it's the final, we have this and this as our partners and our sponsors, so we are going, the dates are these. No, it's a courtesy call for you to come with us and we discuss. You can give us a hint, we talk, you guide accordingly. We are not saying we know it all, but we need to see how best we can work out together for the betterment of this event.
Right, you've talked about coordinators. Now someone is interested in engaging. How do they reach out?
With the coordinators, basically, first and foremost, you can reach me, the chief organizer, through 0773 458 492. 0773 458 492. That is my number. And then in any case I'm up and down, I'm busy, I have one who deals with the health section, who is Dr. Sayan Wanyama. And Dr. Sayan Wanyama can be got from 0776 448 256. 0776 448 256. That is Dr. Sayan Wanyama, who deals with the health department. And then if you're still wondering, you're like, okay, there is also the sanitation section. How best can I handle that? We have Mr. Moses. Mr. Moses is a sanitation expert who knows a lot with, should I call it, I don't know, they call it fecal surge for them in their own language. I hadn't learned about that, but I came to learn about it.
Right.
But Mr. Moses can be got from 0756 377 699.
Right.
0756 377 699.
Amazing, very profound, impactful platforms that are there. And they're not just for individuals, they're for all of us as Ugandans to take shape, to take a part of them and build our nation. Indeed, like Walter said, the president always encourages us, his Bazugulu, to make sure that we build our nation for ourselves. We are the solutions come from within us, and this is one of them. The Health and Sanitation Expo, taking place in July 2025, starting in Kampala, and thereafter will spread to the rest of the major cities in Uganda. So stakeholders, platforms that are very interested in making Uganda better, please engage. The numbers have been read to you for you to engage and make Uganda better. That's it for this conversation this Friday morning on Good Morning Uganda. Thank you so much for being on the show. UBC TV always here to inspire you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I'd like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Kamisona.
We used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others.
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217 *413 #. Choose option 4. Or scan the event QR code, or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
It's Good Morning Uganda on this Friday morning, and because it's a Friday, sometimes we want to celebrate like, yay, it's a Friday. And we do it with movies. What a way to always just choose to lay back, relax, and binge on good movies. What we do here is to inspire you into a few recommendations that you could look into as you go into the weekend. And the very first one that we have is Diablo. It's an upcoming action thriller film directed by Ernesto Diaz Espinoza, and Matt Sampson wrote the screenplay and shaped the story with Scott Adkins on this one. Now, first take a look at the trailer of Diablo.
I don't think so. Hey. Speak. The call got grabbed this morning. It's an opportunity.
Now listen to me. I'm not here to hurt you. Don't do anything stupid.
Don't kick me.
Why do you have to tell me what to do?
Okay. Stop running!
I need to see something. As friends with your mother, I'm telling you the truth.
Prove it! Your mother has been dead for 5 years.
I know. Hey, they killed her.
You took everything from me.
Tell him the safety's on.
Alicia! Run!
We both want to get Lisa back.
Fight to the death for her.
Who is that psycho?
I hired him for a job, but he crossed the line.
That is Diablo. It is still in pre-production as of this May, but will officially be out in June 2025. One to look forward to. I love the trailer. It really caught me. It really caught my attention. And it's a trailer, an action trailer, rather an action movie with a plot is one that you should always look forward to. Now, the cast: Scott Adkins as Chris Cheney and Marco Zarro as El Corvo, the psychopathic killer, as well as Alana De La Rosa as the daughter of a powerful gangster. Now, that particular one is indeed, like I've said, to be released officially in June 2025. And to be particular, the 13th of June in the United States. Now, moving on to another recommendation, Drop is a 2025 American thriller film directed by Christopher Landon and written by Gillian Jacobs and Chris Rock. It stars Megan Faye, Brandon Sklenar, Violet Bean, and Jeffrey Self. Let's have a look at the trailer of Drop.
You dressed like a candy cane? I don't think I should go. He's been waiting patiently to meet you for months. It's just a date.
I love you. Thank you.
Have fun!
Bye! Think I only want one number in my phone. It's just a date. I might change your contact, but don't leave me alone. You said you like my eyes and you like to
Hey.
Hi. Sorry, I got a drink because I was nervous.
I had a couple in the car on the way over. Can't believe we're actually doing this.
I mean, you are the first guy who didn't ask for feet pics.
It's a second date thing. Are you okay?
Somebody sent me this.
It's just dumb kids trying to mess with you.
It's weird.
I mean, who do you think it is?
Oh, I don't know.
We can figure this out. I think you gotta be within 50 feet to send a drop. So, get someone in the restaurant. Violet. Violet, everything okay? Everything okay?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
What's your emergency?
You need help? Please. What do you want from me? I can't do that. I'll kill you if you hurt my son. Why him? Why does he have to die? They chose me for a reason.
Shot at tequila never kill anybody, right?
So, how's this date going?
Name of the movie, it was released officially on the 11th of April and was premiered on the 9th of April this particular year. I love it, and it's one that I would recommend you to watch and engage with this weekend. A lovely plot there is. Now, the cast is Megan Faye as Violet Getz, a widowed single mother, and Brandon Sklenar as Henry Campbell, Violet's date, and Violet Bean as Jen Gates, Violet's younger sister and babysitter of her son. Jacob Robinson as Toby Gates, Violet's son. Reed Diamond as Richard, a diner, and Gabriel Ryan as Cara, the bartender. Now let's look at the third recommendation, and that is The Long Walk. This is an upcoming American dystopian horror film, co-produced and directed by Francis Lawrence and written by J.T. Molnar. It is based on the 1979 novel by Stephen King under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. Now let's have a look at the trailer.
Go to inspire everyday people.
I'm Ray Garrity. You can call me Ray.
Prima Freeze.
Hank Olson's the name. Walking's my game.
I ain't many that are built like me. I'm the last of my kind.
We did the very first long walk years ago to inspire everyday people.
Smile, boys. You're on candid camera.
Man, you gotta not think about the things out of your control. Think about your plan.
Personally, I can't stop thinking about all that money.
You'll never find another like me. I'm the last of my kind.
Hurt, warning. Okay, just keep walking. That's right. Just keep walking. Yeah, that's it, kid. That's it.
Second warning. Third warning.
Takes heavy sack to sign up for this contest. I'm not gonna go through the whole rule book, but it boils down to this. If you fall below the speed of 3 miles per hour, you get your ticket. Walk until there's only one of you left. Who's ready to win? Yeah, it took me a while to realize the truth of this. This is walk or die.
Warning.
You'll walk as long as you can.
Warning.
But sometimes the body won't listen.
Warning.
For some, your heart will stop.
Warning.
For others, your brain.
Warning.
And the blood will flow suddenly.
Warning. Warning.
There's one winner.
Warning.
And no finish line.
Now, that particular one is to be released on the 12th of September. And if you're not so much into horrors, I'm not so sure if you're able to keep up. But it's one that is to keep you on the edge as well, in case you follow your plot properly. It is the plot of this particular one. It's in a dystopian United States ruled by totalitarian regime. A group of young men enter an annual walking contest where they must walk at 3 miles per hour non-stop or be executed until one of them is left alive. The cast is Cooper Hoffman as Raymond Garrity and David Johnson as Peter McVarries. Now, there's also Mark Hamill as the Major, Garrett Worrying as Stebbins, and Charlie Plummer as Gary Bakovich. Now, that is one that is to be released in September, on the 12th day of September. And that wraps it up for what we have for your movie recommendations. 2 of them coming up later on this year, June and September respectively, and one is already out, and that is Drop. So you can be sure to enjoy your weekend with Drop. Good morning, Uganda. Ruben is coming up next with the sports.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our wind.